Hi everybody, this is the Center for Spiritual Care and I am Ellen Fischer, and around us on the walls is an exhibition called Viva FOCA. You may wonder what FOCA means. That's Friends of Contemporary Art. It's a new group in town whose members enjoy meeting each other for discussion of contemporary art, viewing studios of artists in the area, and going on field trips further afield. All of the artists in this show wanted to open this year's season of Art in the Holidays with a bang, and each one submitted a painting or two for this wonderful exhibit that we're seeing now. It's on through December 30th, 2021, and at this time we're filming it, you still have a few weeks to see it. So come on in and see that. Today, my co-host is Xaque Gruber, who is also a friend of contemporary art, an artist member, and he has works in the show. Welcome, Xaque.
Thank you, Ellen. Thank you for including me in all of this.
Yes, how long have you been a member of FOCA now?
Well, FOCA, Friends of Contemporary Art, has only existed a couple of years, and most of that time there's been a pandemic. So we really are just here having our sort of, debutante party.
Yes, I think so. I think that's a good word for it.
Yeah.
We were able to have a few programs, lectures, and studio visits before the pandemic hit. We decided on the planning committee to invite all the artists who had memberships to a show here at the Center for Spiritual Care to open the season with a bang.
I hope people come see this show because the space is so intimate and the work is intimate too.
Yes, it is. We actually set a bit of a size limit, which was sort of a trial for some of our artists who like to work bigger, but everyone came through with flying colors, as you will see. And you, Xaque?
I tend to work smaller.
Yes, you do.
I tend to. I don't know why. I like working smaller. Working larger for me is very complicated, but I will attempt it.
Yes, I do too, but you know, contemporary art isn't just about art that's big, or art that's small, or art that's abstract, or art that is representational. It's about art that's happening now, and it encompasses a wide range of media and styles and ways of presenting.
Yeah, and this show has quite a variety of painting, drawing, mixed media. It kind of runs the spectrum, and I like it.
Well, let's look at your two pieces first. We have Baby Snowy Owl and Mother Snowy Owl.
They're a pair of mixed media watercolor, I call them watercolor drawings because they are basically drawings. My degree is in drawing from Pratt Institute. And so, but I'm using watercolor and I'm also using pencil on a variety of surfaces, including wallpaper, fabric, rice paper, lace. And I like the rough edges around the two owls. The baby owl has this bright baby look in his eyes.
Yes.
Warm and new to the world.
Wide-eyed.
Wide-eyed and fresh. The mother owl looks more motherly, more like she's been around a little while.
More of an adult. There's definitely a difference between the way that you showed the baby owl
and I like
and
their
the mother.
Arching bodies and heads and the contrasts with the lights and darks. They're pieces I'm very proud of. I made them in Maine only in October of this year, 2021.
So speaking of contemporary, they're hot off the easel.
They are. They're very new. And I love painting birds. I love mixed media. I teach drawing, painting, mixed media. And birds have always been a favorite subject of mine. Another favorite subject of mine is fairy tales and nursery rhymes and poetry. I like weaving song lyrics into my paintings too. So I have a third piece in this show. I feel very honored to have three. And it's very small, but it's a sweet piece. It's the first in a series I'm doing. And this is Little Boy Blue, as in Little Boy Blue, come blow your horn. I don't know if you all know the nursery rhyme. I hope you do. But when Little Boy Blue is usually depicted, he's usually seen as a toddler. And I thought, well, if he's really out watching the cows and the corn and the sheep, he should probably be a little more grown up. I wouldn't put my 5-year-old nephew in charge of all that. So I made him, I drew him and painted him as he looks about 19 maybe. And I like his more adult, youthful look. And he has no shirt on. He's laying there like in the sun, sound asleep with some horns around him. The colors are dreamy. I use tissue paper layered in different places. I love this technique that I'm using now, and it's very exciting to me.
Yes, it's a very dreamlike picture. I think especially because of the colors that don't stay in certain areas. It's pinks, blues, purples that sort of weave around the figure as though we're seeing a little bit of his dream.
We're in the dream.
We are in the dream.
Yeah, yeah.
And in fact, this particular fairy tale reminds me of a mythological story, a mythological character called Ganymede the Shepherd.
Oh, yeah.
Not so far from Little Boy Blue. Maybe it's the same guy.
Maybe he's just, Ganymede is him as a little older.
Yeah, that's right. And Ganymede, as the myth goes, was the cupbearer of Zeus.
I love that.
Yes, yes.
Okay, cool.
So those are some of the representations.
Now, something I've noticed is in this show, My Little Boy Blue is right above a painting that you know very well.
Oh.
That Ellen painted, and it's called Bear Hunt.
It's called Bear Hunt, and it's another representational painting. This, again, is sort of a small painting, and it's of very small objects. It's actually a still life, even though there is an action implied.
I love your still lifes.
Thank you very much.
I love them.
I love to make them.
You must. You make quite a few.
The bear is a metal bear that I found in a flea market, and the little Indians were lent to me by a friend who is an artist, Robert McCall, who's a photographer. These were his grandfather's toys. They were probably made in the 1940s. And they are called elastilin, that was the trademark, figures. And these are Indians. Now we think of little boys and girls of our vintage and older as having the little toy guns and watching Roy Rogers and really getting into the cowboys and Indian things. But the Germans, as you probably also know from your interest in Germany, were probably the original cowboy and Indian and Western crazies. I mean, some of the best known Westerns were written by German authors for dissemination not only in Europe, but in the United States. So I took these Indians and everything that they represent, the good, the bad, the ugly, something that was made in the 40s. At the same time, this company was also making World War II figures. Unfortunately, Nazi soldiers.
Oh, really?
Yes.
Oh, geez.
At the same time, they were turning out these playthings. They were all playthings. But I guess it's just, I felt that these particular figures were so fraught with historical baggage that I wanted to use them, not only in this painting, but in several others, to see what they did, how they changed the still life.
It's a wonderful piece, and I love the contrasts, and I love the space in the piece.
Well, thank you very much. Yeah, I like to make something look really big in a really small little,
I like your dimension
painting.
too. You know, it's that horizontal, very
that
nice
was something
dimension.
I found a frame that I wanted to put something in, and I made the canvas to fit it.
The frame came first.
The frame came first. And so therefore, it dictated my composition.
I
like to do stuff like that.
That's happened with me too, actually.
I think whenever you get your tissue papers or your wallpapers, I think they combine in your mind to make a piece.
Oh, yeah.
But enough of us.
Enough of us.
Enough of us.
Yes, we have great artists in this show. Who would you like to?
I think that Emily Tremmel
I love that painting.
I love this painting. And you know, she is very new to abstract painting. And in fact, she had to borrow this painting. I think it was her first truly abstract painting that she painted within the last year, sold right away, and fortunately for us, the owners lent it for this show.
Is she new to abstract painting?
She's very new to abstract
painting. What
painting.
was her previous work like?
It was representational, and it had a lot to do with Florida. It had a lot to do with figural work, people.
I love the colors in this so much, and I find it a really difficult palette when you have, basically she's using the whole color wheel, including brown and what looks like might be black. And it's so jazzy. And
Yes.
it's so vibrant and exciting to look at. It's thrilling, and I love the frame. Speaking of frames,
Yes, and that looks like a vintage, what would you call a vintage frame that looks so perfect on this
it does.
painting. The colors in it, the red and also the different areas of texture, remind me a lot of Matisse and the way he used to introduce a lot of Middle Eastern fabrics, Spanish decor in tiles and things into his pictures, especially of figures and interiors. So this has really very much the feeling of an interior, but it isn't.
It does. It also feels like a city to me.
Yes.
And it feels very mid-century modern to me.
Yes.
Which is, if I went into a modern art museum and they said, here's a great mid-century modern piece by Arthur Dove, and it was hers, I would be fooled.
Yes.
That's how authentic it looks to me.
Well, I think that contemporary art, the art that we do today, often relies a lot on what we know and what we've seen before. I think you can't have contemporary art without thinking about the past and without bringing it into the picture a little bit.
I agree.
I mean, otherwise you cannot create art in a vacuum.
No.
Now, another really abstract artist in the show we have is Tim Sanchez. And what do you like about Tim's work? He has two pieces, and they have wonderful titles, I think, that fit the show very well.
What are the titles?
Festive
Yeah.
and Silver Spoons.
Okay, yeah. So I love all of his work. I've seen, and he does some really large work.
I usually
so
think
this
large.
is among the smaller ones that I've ever seen by him. I wonder if it's challenging for him to work smaller, or if these were cut pieces from a much larger, I don't know. I didn't get to talk to him and find out the background. So I'm getting a nod in the side wings here that they are cut pieces from a much larger work.
Tim is a no-holds-barred painter.
Okay.
I mean, I think that
he is no holds barred, I agree.
he's grounded in abstract expressionism and in what is called action painting from those days, where you don't sit very demurely on a chair
There's
and
nothing
sit at
demure
an easel.
here, no.
You are actively scraping and tearing.
It's very
and,
physical.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
I've
There's
even
so
seen
much.
him take a whole roll of paper towels and just smear the canvas with it to get the effect he wants. He'll just grab whatever he needs and go for it.
I love that.
So in this case, he grabbed a pair of scissors, cut out something he liked, and then built on that to make these.
He's like a warrior with paint and materials.
Yes.
I mean, there's stuff in the second piece here. What is it called? Spoons? What do you say?
Silver spoons.
Silver spoons. Where I can't tell what it is, but there's actual, looks like lids, spoons, some piece of, looks like a rock or crystal or something. And I don't know, it doesn't matter, but it's just so fascinating how it all works together and blends in beautifully.
They are just elements. And unlike us, who think very carefully about what we're going to paint and what we're going to even call it beforehand, he does it, and these things come in as he needs them, and the spur of the moment, spontaneously. And then he titles them later, very appropriately, with what feeling he got from them or what materials he used in the painting.
There's also a lot of geometry in these two pieces.
Yes, there is.
Squares, rectangles, and it's all broken up very architecturally. I like it.
Yes,
I like it. It's
yes.
fascinating.
He does use a framework on which he allows himself to go wild, to be as free as he wants.
Yeah, I've been to his studio and it's wild.
I think that another painting that gets into abstraction is Susan Roff's, and she has a very long name. And Suzanne Roff. I'm going to have to read her title because it's very long.
Okay, read it.
Okay. It's May All Our Dark Clouds Pass as a New Day Emerges. Now, I think that really speaks to our times. It's truly a contemporary painting in the title.
Yes. I was lucky enough to go to Suzanne's studio as she was just starting this piece.
Oh.
And it was in its early stages. So it's hard to critique a piece in its early stages.
Impossible.
So then I saw impossible. So then I came to this opening and it had changed so much that I didn't see the name. I didn't know it was hers. And I said, wow, look at that. She goes, that one's mine. I went, that one's yours? That's the one. So she's new at painting. And wow, I'm so impressed with this piece.
I wouldn't have known that she was new at painting.
For some reason, this sky and the water, it all reminds me of the kind of skies and waters I see over New Jersey and New York. in
She is
that
from
area.
that area.
She has lived there. She's an NYU professor.
Yes, and she's only been in Vero for 13 months now. So I think a lot of that back home in the big city and the big skies is still with her.
She was raised in near Miami in one of the keys down there.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it's a famous key. What's it called?
Many.
Key Biscayne?
Oh, okay.
I think that's the one.
Okay.
Anyway, and perhaps that's that. Perhaps that's what she was painting. I don't know, but I love it. I absolutely love the piece.
I think a little bit in the way that you overlap tissues and translucent papers and things to make your paintings and to give those layers of interest. She does that with the paint alone. And you really have to come in to see those clouds, because the closer you look at the clouds, the more colors, the more shapes and swirls you see within them.
It's wonderful.
It's really a beautiful
I also
thing.
love how she painted and wrapped around the sides of the canvas.
Yes, she did. It was perfect. It's a deep canvas, and it just continues the landscape around the edges.
Yeah. Suzanne, keep painting.
Oh, yes,
if you're watching this, it's good.
Suzanne also sold her painting at the reception, and she was walking on air, but this is only the first of many to come. I think that one that really has a lot of the same feeling as Suzanne's is Gus Miller's. Now, Gus Miller has been painting for decades. I won't say how many decades, but considerably a longer time than Suzanne. But I think when you look at his skies, you feel some of the same feeling, that there are layers of color and layers of films of paint, one over the other, that gives you a sense of depth. And there's a reason for that.
I would love to see a film of him painting and making these
I don't know if he'd give up his secrets that
maybe
easily.
not. Maybe he
But
wouldn't.
he will tell you.
But I'm fascinated with all of his works. I mean, they're really distinctive.
There's only one Gus Miller, and he actually painted this over another painting. So some of those intriguing colors and shapes that are coming through are from the painting underneath.
Oh, that's cool.
And he didn't tell me what it was
I like
of.
that.
But this is one of his freighters, and recently we've seen freighters laden with the cargo boxes that come off and go into trucks to all over the United States. This one is empty.
Oh.
No cargo. And here it is, the holiday season, and I don't know, that sort of speaks to the current times also.
I like the industrial quality of the composition.
Yes.
It makes me feel like I'm in, I don't know where. I've lived in cities where they've had sections of town that look like this, Providence, Rhode Island, or actually there's a power plant in Vero that you know very well.
Yeah, exactly. The rusty hull, the smokestack, the antennas.
Yeah, I really adore that.
It's a city on the ocean, and it refers to cities on land as well.
Yeah.
And again, very closely related to that in my mind is Madeline Long's picture, and it is called, let me tell you what it is called. It is called Rose over Rio Mar. It sounds like a movie, doesn't it?
Rose over Rio Mar, that's the title?
That's the title.
Okay. Well, I love the solid planes of color. I love these shapes and how it's broken up. It almost reminds me of some of David Hockney's work.
Exactly, me too.
Yeah.
Me too.
And it has a quiet, clean, beautiful, and a strong sense of design. I'm really drawn in.
Well, that one point
too.
Perspective will do it every time.
Oh yeah.
You can only go one way in this picture, and it's straight to the ocean, where then you see, I suppose, the rose in the sky is the sun, the rosy sun.
Yeah, it's wonderful.
And then you come back again to
you
yourself.
only have that one little dot of rosy pink.
Yes, and it's really the only thing with rounded edges in the picture. So it's a very important element in the painting. If it weren't there, it wouldn't be a picture, would it?
Yeah, and like I said, to me it's very mysterious and quiet. And I like that there's no people in it. We don't need to see birds flying. It's just still. I
think it's what we want to see when we go to the ocean front or the beach. We want to be alone. So there's nobody there, and it gives us a little uplift, a little feeling of joy.
Her other work too.
She has done many types of work. This is quite new for her too, this very geometric format. She's done some really luscious floral wreaths and pears, fruits, these luscious painterly canvases This is entirely different
Is
for her.
it? Oh, wow.
Yes.
So we have artists in this show that are working very differently.
I think they are, and I think that the whole idea behind the show of something contemporary, people said, I want to show what I'm doing right now. These are all recent works here. These aren't from their art school days or a decade ago.
No, I like that it's
They're
recent
brand
work.
new.
Yes.
You know, another piece that I like in here that I think we need to mention is Susan Hale's work.
Oh, yeah.
Because she is also doing something completely new lately, which is abstractions.
We have a number of great abstract paintings in this show.
Yes, we do.
I hope everyone watching comes to see this show because it offers so many beautiful examples of abstract art and how people are approaching it in different ways.
Yes. So we have, for example, Susan Hale's Might As Well Be Spring. And,
which is a famous Stan Getz Astrid Gilberto song.
We also have a Charlotte Kane LaJoy, known to her friends as Shotzi painting in here, which is really pretty wonderful. It really isn't titled. It's sort of titled after the colors that's in the painting. And that is yellow with lines and stripes.
And you love yellow.
I love yellow.
It's your favorite color, right?
It is my favorite color.
Okay.
And yellow is one of those colors that you either hate or you love.
I actually love yellow. It was Van Gogh's favorite color.
Well, there's a reason for that. You know, that you have to be a very positive and a very determined person, I think, to like yellow.
Yeah,
it's easy to dislike yellow.
Yes, yes. Yellow, the older I get, the more I love yellow. And I want to do more with it, actually.
There's probably that light at the end of the tunnel coming at you.
Yeah, well, you can't not look at yellow and smile. I mean, you have to smile or feel a sort of happiness when you see yellow, usually, you know, unless someone's yellow and jaundiced. But but yellow is usually very happy and joyful. I love the pairing of these two abstract paintings together in the gallery too.
Yes.
And I love that it's between Emily Tremmel's and Iris's.
Yes, by Rita Barone.
Yeah.
And she's gone the opposite of these other artists. She has become to represent objects in her canvases while still remaining very, very abstract. So you may not see the iris at first, but you see a very strong composition in very subtle, harmonious colors.
What I love is, and I love irises, I love flowers, and I feel the irises in her painting. I didn't even see the title, and I went, oh, this feels like irises. I didn't really see the iris, but it didn't matter because it felt like I was looking at irises. It just has this beautiful, open, airy quality with these great little strokes that she did.
So have you been influenced by any of the people in this show today to go forth and do something new in your own work?
Yes. Oh, yes. It's so exciting to be in a group show like this.
There's nothing like it.
Yeah.
Well, thanks for being part of the show, Xaque.
Are we done?
We are almost done.
Oh,
and I want to thank everybody for tuning in again. And you have to come in to see these.
Yes.
The images on your screen do not do these artworks justice. Remember, this show is up until December 30th at the Center for Spiritual Care in Vero Beach. I'm Ellen Fischer. Again, this is Xaque Gruber, and have happy holidays, everybody.
Thank you so much, and be sure to see this show. Also, I just want to add that we also have work by Jill Kerwick, who else? Jan Miller, Barbara Rolls.
Yes.
And Janet Kipp Tribune.
Yes.
You know, I want to mention them because we didn't get to chat about every single piece, but
that's true.
Yeah. So thank you all.